this is Malorian, and this is an Orc tactical team, and what we're going to talk about today is how you're going to be taking on the new tournament ogres with your orcs and goblins. Now, in your typical ogre tournament list, you should be seeing anywhere from 1 to 3 hordes. You're going to be seeing, of course, the Slaughter Master in there. You're going to be seeing the, probably an Iron Blaster, if not 2, and you're also going to be seeing a lot of these Saber Tusks that are going to be rushing around. There's other builds as well, such as like the single Death Star with a whole bunch of characters and just the single unit. But we're not going to really focus on that one. We're going to focus on the one that you probably should be seeing even more of. So, as an Orc and Goblin player, what are you going to be doing to try and deal with these things? And I think the big thing to be using is the fact that you're going to be having all these numbers on your hands, and the fact that you can really be dominating the movement phase because of this. The first thing you're going to need to do to make sure you're going to keep hold of that advantage is you're going to need to make sure you get rid of all those Saber Tusks. You know, those 25 or 21 point guys rushing around, either going after your war machines or being able to try and bog you down, set up the charges that the ogre player wants. You need to get rid of these guys. And so in your list, you're going to have to make sure that either you're going to have some sort of magic missile you can depend on, or better yet, you're probably going to want to have some chariots in there, because the chariots are just great ways of clearing these guys out. And then, hey, a 50-point throwaway unit isn't bad, or these things that rush in and add in that little bit more damage, because of course any damage you can do on these ogres is going to be felt a lot by them. Another thing you want to be looking into is fanatics. Fanatics not only can do a lot of damage to the ogres, but as soon as they see that you have night goblins, they might be wanting to be sending their Saber Tusk at you. And their idea is, okay, I don't want that fanatic hitting me, so I'll send him my Saber Tusk, he'll send out the fanatic, I'll jump on him, boom, done, I don't need to worry about this. And as an Orc and Goblin player, that's fantastic, because I've already said that those Saber Tusks is what they're going to need to try and make sure they set up the charges that they need. Once those are gone, then all of a sudden the Orc and Goblin player is going to be outnumbering them, having more units, and they're going to have to be then at the whim of the Orc and Goblin player. So, for a loss of about 4 points, this is a huge tactical advantage for the Orc and Goblin player. So a great thing to do. Something that's related to that is you're probably going to want to see if you can be squeaking in some of these Mangler Squigs. Obviously, you don't want to be having the Saber Tusk jumping on them. That'd be a little bit of a waste, and this is where for sure you might want to be doing this side by side with the chariot to try and keep those Saber Tusks away. However, those Mangler Squigs, as you maybe saw from my video of my battle report, do massive amounts of damage to the ogres. Not only can you set it into the big blocks, and you can be killing 3 ogres if they land on you, 2 if you're going through them, but as well, if you send it into their larger things, if they're taking those, such as the Stone Horns or the Iron Blaster, or even if they have the Mournfangs, you can be doing tremendous amounts of damage to these guys. So it's just a great thing to have. Now, while we're talking about the Mournfangs, you're going to need to find a way to deal with these guys. Now, really, any of your real hard-hitting troops are great counters to them. If you have your Black Orcs, if you have your Savage Orc Biggins, if you have your Squig Horde, if you have Trolls. Trolls in general is just great to have against Ogres, because they're just almost like better Ogres. When you're ever going to be doing the matchups before magical buffs for 3 points more than an Ogre with an Iron Fist, you have a guy that's going to have +1 strength, regeneration, and the ability to puke, which will just, of course, destroy a Mournfang unit. However, when you're dealing with these things, Mournfangs, you will beat them. If not in the first round, you'll be steadfast, beat them later. But the problem with that is that you're going to be taking a lot of losses. So one of the things you might want to be trying to throw back into your list, if you start seeing a lot of Ogre players, are the things like the Spear Chukkas or the Doom Diver. I'd say more the Spear Chukkas, just because they're so cheap, but I mean the Doom Diver can be alright too. It's just a little bit more of an investment. And I mean, the big thing about Mournfang is that they have a 2+ armor when fitted out right. But hey, your war machines will punch right through that, D3 wounds, and just bing, bing, bing. You can be killing these guys, forcing panic tests, and a lot of times these Mournfangs you can probably expect to be on the flanks. Maybe you can catch them, make them go off the board. So that's the best thing to do there. Now, the number one threat, though, is going to be these large hordes of ogres, and trying to get the right balance. And really what you're going to be wanting to do is setting it up so you can be taking them on 2 hordes on 1, because really cost-wise, that's probably the way it's going to be able to match up. Now, what you're going to do is after you clear out these saber tusks, you can now be using your throwaway units to be trying to buffer them in and being able to counter. Now, basically what you're going to do is have, say, for instance, 1 horde here, 1 horde here, and then your throwaway unit somewhere here. And the whole point of it will be they hit the throwaway unit and then go and overrun into one of your other units. And then, of course, once that happens, that combat's happening on Ogre turn, they overrun, and on your turn, boom, you flank, and with all those attacks, you're going to slaughter them. Now, in doing this, you're going to be giving up the impact hits. It's just going to be obvious that, okay, impact hits here, impact hits here. It's just a price you have to pay to get that flank, and it's going to be well worth it. If they decide to be defensive and, oh, I'm not going to go and go for this, that's great. And again, one of the things that you have that's a perfect counter to these big, huge blocks of ogres is your Foot of Gork. So if you ever have a defensive ogre player and you have that spell, you're sitting pretty. Just go for that max version and smash, 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 smash. So that's going to be the main thing. But the problem is with that even, that if we start dedicating 2 hordes against 1, we're going to eventually run into a point problem, where it's not exactly like we have 10,000 points versus 2,000 points. We do have limited resources. One of the things that's going to help this a lot, this ratio, is if hopefully by now people are running the units of 100 Night Goblins like I've been running, and all you do now is, even though against most armies it's great to have it stabby stabby 10 wide, well in this you're probably going to go more for ranks. It depends how big the ogre horde is, but the thing is, these ogres kill so fast, I would not even try to be standing up with them with that. Just go for a full 20 ranks with this. Bog one down. 1 horde is bogged down for the entire game, and then now you have more units to go and concentrate on the other ones. Fantastic. And so really when it comes down to it, that's all it's going to be when you're going to be trying to take on these ogre players. Step 1, neutralize their saber tusks. Step 2, using war machines and Manglish, whatever you can to be hitting their Mornfangs. Step 3, using the Night Goblins to bog down 1 horde, and then the final step, using your hordes then in greater numbers to be setting up the charges and the flanks on the remaining horde. And if any of those things are getting stalled because he's not moving up, war machines, Foot of Gork. You can do that all day long. So there you have it. Hope that helps, and we'll see you next time. Bye.